Hey, Jimmy with Cuff and Stuff. Well, we've got one today I hope you're going to enjoy. This is South Carolina red hash or barbecued hash. Now, this is a dish that is particular to South Carolina. You'll only find it a few places here in the state and mostly below or south of Columbia. My grandparents lived down there most of my life, and we grew up eating it down there. There is another type of hash that's called liver hash. It's a gray looking hash. It's found predominantly in the upper part of the state. So sit back. We'll have the recipe for you in the description. Until we come back, hang tight. Okay, what I've got here is 3 small boneless Boston butts. I'm going to take these. I'm going to cut these into about 1-inch squares. Put them into big medallions first, and then we'll cut them up. Now, obviously, what you need is a good sharp knife with this, but we're going to take them and cube them up, cut them into smaller pieces, and throw them in the bowl over here. I'm using these 3 partial butts. I have 2 small pork loins. That's what I could get. So that's what I'm going to use for this hash today. So let me get all this cubed up and I'll bring you back. All right, well, we've got that done. We've got our butt and our loin cut up. And the next challenge here is going to be to do these onions. So let's cut up some onions. All right, so we're gonna get a heaping tablespoon here of garlic, and we're gonna mix in with this onion, and we'll bring it back. Okay, here's my little hash cooking rig. I do chicken stews, hash, several other different things in it. What I've done is cut down a 55-gallon drum. That is the top portion turned over, the square cut out for it. I've got a burner down on the inside. That's sitting up on the top of that. That solves the problem with wind, and also distributes the heat up the sides of the pot. So you don't have just one hot spot in the bottom. It actually distributes the heat up the side, and you can see I've only had this on about 5 minutes, and it's already getting my water up to temperature. But when I get ready to start adding to the pot, I'll bring you back. Okay, so we got our water, and that's all we have in there right now. We're starting to get a rolling boil. We're going to put our meat in first. get as this starts to boil is we're going to get pieces of fat, ligament, and whatnot. But we're going to start to skim some of that off the top. The only other thing that we're going to add right now is I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of black pepper and about 2 tablespoons of salt. And that's going to be all we're going to put in there right now. Okay, we're just going to let her cook. We'll bring you back. Okay, we're 2.5 hours in. Let me stir this for you and show you. See where we're getting? We're getting where the meat's breaking up pretty good. You saw I help it along a little bit. I take a butcher knife and chop up some of the bigger pieces, and there's still some big pieces in it. But this is the point that I'm going to take, and I'm going to dump all my onions in. Now this is the onions and garlic. So I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to take my paddle and I'm going to stir my onions in. I'm going to let them start to cook with the meat, and this is where it's really going to start smelling good. But when you get to this point, this is where you better start stirring this meat, and I mean really regular, almost. Not quite constantly, but almost, because this is going to start, the meat starts sinking to the bottom of the pot, and you can ruin a whole pot of hash by letting it scorch on the bottom. Now, I've turned the heat down. I started on high and had as high a rolling boil as I could get. Now I'm down way below half, almost, I would say about a quarter of the flame that I had before, and it's still boiling. It's still got some heat in it, but I'm going to let this start to simmer, and you see I don't have a top on it. It's just open, and as this thickens up, this is going to start to continue to break down even further, and we're going to go from there. Okay, here we go. We're 6 hours in. We're going to put 3 cans of tomato paste. If we can get it out of the can. Alright, there's one. And that's 3. Got 1 bottle of red barbecue sauce. I'm gonna put the whole thing in. Two cups of yellow mustard base barbecue sauce. Use 2 cups of CHS barbecue sauce. I'm going to use about half a container of ketchup. Quart of V8. A quart of just regular tomato juice. About 5 tablespoons of salt. Three tablespoons of black pepper. A 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. A 28-ounce can of tomato sauce. About 8 ounces of mustard. Let's stir this up. Now, I still have the heat on, and we're going to simmer this until it joins all these flavors together. We're probably looking at more than 2 hours, probably 3 or 4 hours, and we're going to keep it stirred up good while we do this. And when we get it ready to actually spoon up, we'll come back. Okay, this is simmered for another 2 hours, so we're looking at a total time of better than 6 hours in this pot of red hash. Let's try it and see. Just right. Oh my goodness. Folks, you got to try this. I know if you're not from South Carolina, you don't know what this is, but you got to try it. It's delicious. Make it your own. Put as much or as little of whatever you want to, but that is the basis of how to make South Carolina red hash. If you haven't already, hit this button over here and subscribe. Ring the bell so when we come out with another video, you don't miss it. On this side, we'll have another video for you. Until next time, hang tight.